Hello everybody, it's Tom and Jerry Fan 64 here, and I apologize if there's not a movie review today, but I'm gonna be doing this. I'm gonna be doing a video of my top 21 favorite movies of all time. It was hard to pick between 21, but I did do a video a couple years ago where I did my favorite movies of all time. My top 10, I believe, when I did it back when I used to live in my mom's house. I think it was back in 2020. So yeah, I'm finally doing another favorite movie, one of my favorite movies. Yeah, and I picked 21. So yeah, and by the way, guys, before I start this video, this is my personal list. So guys might not agree with me on all of these, but yeah. So let's get this started, and I'm gonna do this quick. Number 21 is Space Jam. Probably one of the biggest parts of my childhood. I really enjoyed this movie. I've watched it twice in a row. And I do have the VHS of this one. This is a great movie from my childhood, even though I watched it later on in my life. I watched it when I was like 17 or 16. And this is a great movie. And call me crazy, I actually enjoyed Space Jam: A New Legacy. I loved that sequel. But I still think the first Space Jam is far superior over the second one. But the second one is a guilty pleasure. And guys, comment down below, should I do my guilty pleasures? I'm thinking about doing a video of my top 10 guilty pleasure movies. I probably will do that. So yeah, number 20 is Hook, directed by Steven Spielberg. This is a really underrated movie that no one ever talks about. Definitely one of Robin Williams' most underrated movies. Rest in peace, Robin Williams. And probably one of Steven Spielberg's most underrated movies. It didn't get very good reviews when it originally came out. But I do hope to rewatch this movie on 4K this time. This is a great movie that doesn't get the love it deserves. So yeah, Hook is a great movie. Dustin Hoffman was great as Captain James Hook. And at number 19 is Casino Royale with Daniel Craig. You're probably saying this movie should be higher on this list, but this is my personal list, like I said. But I really enjoyed Casino Royale. Definitely one of the best Bond movies in my opinion. One of the best Bond movies in my opinion, next to Dr. No and Goldfinger. This is a great movie. This is the first Bond movie to star Daniel Craig, and this is a great. I think Daniel Craig is my second favorite Bond after Sean Connery. Honestly, Daniel Craig is probably my favorite James Bond. Honestly, next it's either him or Sean Connery. So yeah, this was a great movie. So yeah, Number 18 is Blade with Wesley Snipes. This is a great movie. I was gonna add Blade 2, but yeah, but that one is better than the first one. But I love the movie Blade. Definitely one of Wesley Snipes' best movies, and ignore the noise in the background. So yeah, Blade is a great movie, and I know there's a 4K release of this movie, which I might get maybe, even though I already own it on DVD. Number 17 is The Karate Kid, the original. This is a classic martial arts movie, and it's a movie that definitely reminds me of my childhood. It's a great movie. Even though I watched this movie later in life, this is a great movie. And I hope to get the first 3 seasons of Cobra Kai, because I heard that show's great. So yeah, this was a great movie. The Karate Kid is definitely one of the best performances by Ralph Macchio, and probably the best movie with Pat Morita. Pat Morita and Ralph Macchio were great in this movie. And William Zabka, who played Johnny Lawrence. So yeah, rest in peace to Pat Morita. This is a great movie. So yeah, number 16 is another movie you're probably saying this movie should be higher, but there's a lot more movies I enjoy more than this, and that's Hacksaw Ridge. This is a phenomenal film that definitely deserves your attention. If you're a fan of war movies, I highly recommend it. And if you're a fan of Mel Gibson, this is a great movie. This is probably one of the best movies Mel Gibson's directed. Definitely one of the greatest war movies ever made. It's one of my all-time favorite war movies. It's either this or The Hurt Locker or the Full Metal Jacket. Full Metal Jacket is my favorite war movie, but this is probably a close second. So yeah, at number 15 is John Wick. This is a great movie. I could not live without this movie. This movie was great. And sorry if I... So yeah. And sorry, I apologize if there's some movies that are not higher on the list, but John Wick definitely deserves to be on my top 21 list. John Wick is one of the best action franchises ever, next to Die Hard. And by the way, guys, before I go to number 14, I have an honorable mention, and that is Die Hard, the first movie. So yeah, Die Hard definitely deserves your attention. If you haven't seen Die Hard, I highly recommend it. So that's the only honorable mention. So yeah, number 14, speaking of Keanu Reeves, number 14 is The Matrix. Definitely one of the greatest movies, and I do have another honorable mention, which is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So yeah. And by the way, guys, before I explain more about The Matrix, I have an announcement to make. To this Thursday and Friday, I have no school, so there will be reviews coming soon. So yeah. Number 14 is definitely The Matrix, one of the best martial arts, one of the best science fiction movies of all time. And speaking of another movie of Keanu Reeves, number 13 is Speed. This is a great movie, one of the best Keanu Reeves movies ever. Great movie. So yeah, number 12 is a movie that used to be my number 1 favorite movie, but it got changed, and that is Forrest Gump. A lot of people, I hope you guys aren't upset, but the Forrest Gump is actually my number 12 favorite movie of all time. There's just 11 more movies that I enjoyed more than this movie. Number 11 is The Departed, which needs no introduction. Martin Scorsese makes some pretty great movies. You can't go wrong there. See, I do hope to find the movie The Irishman, but it's only available on Criterion. So yeah. The Departed is definitely one of the greatest gangster movies of all time. And this is one of 3 Martin Scorsese movies I'm mentioning in this video. So yeah, speaking of Martin Scorsese, number 10 is Raging Bull, with Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci. One of the best wrestling movies ever. And I do have another honorable mention, which is Rocky. So yeah. I was going to put Rocky, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and some other movies on this list, but I had to split it to 21. So yeah, number 10 is Raging Bull, definitely. Number 9 is a Mark Wahlberg movie that you guys should definitely check out. Number 9 is The Fighter, one of the best Mark Wahlberg movies ever, in my opinion. See, I'm going to do a speed round. Number 8 is Clerks, one of the greatest comedies of all time, needs no introduction. Number 7 is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with Steve Martin and John Candy. This is a great movie. If you guys haven't seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, I highly recommend it. I'm very disappointed that they're remaking the movie. I heard rumors that there's going to be a remake of this movie starring Will Smith and Kevin Hart. Even though I love Will Smith and Kevin Hart, I'm not excited for the remake of this movie. That's what I'm working on. So yeah, number 6 is Caddyshack, which is a really, really great movie directed by the late Harold Ramis. One of the greatest comedy movies ever made. Number 5 is Mrs. Doubtfire. So yeah, Mrs. Doubtfire is definitely my favorite Robin Williams movie. And in the top 4 favorite movies of all time, number 4 is The Silence of the Lambs, which is my favorite Anthony Hopkins performance. Even though I've only seen this movie once, I do hope to get this movie on 4K sometime, even though I have the DVD. So The Silence of the Lambs needs no introduction, one of the best thriller movies of all time. And I do have a couple more honorable mentions, which are Terminator 2, Judgment Day, and the Star Wars franchise. So yeah. So yeah, number 3 is Goodfellas. This is the other Martin Scorsese movie I'm talking about. Number 3 is Goodfellas. Definitely one of my all-time favorite Martin Scorsese movies for sure. Really, really great movie. And going back to Mrs. Doubtfire, I hope that movie gets a 4K release. So Goodfellas is a great movie. And number 2, the top 2 best movies of all time. And number 2 is a movie that used to be my number 1, but there's one movie that beat it. Number 2 is The Shawshank Redemption. One of my favorite prison movies of all time. One of my favorite movies based on a true story. Great movie. And my number one favorite movie of all time is a movie that I watched yesterday, and I immediately fell in love with it. My number one favorite movie of all time that even beat The Shawshank Redemption, surprisingly, is The Green Mile. One of Tom Hanks' best performances he ever made. Great, great movie. The Green Mile is a really great movie, but like I said in my review to this movie, The Green Mile, I highly suggest you bring tissues with you because this is a really sad movie. It's definitely a tearjerker. So yeah, before I end this video, I'm sorry about the noises in the background, but there's nothing I can do about it. So yeah, that is it for my top 21 favorite movies of all time, in which I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you're generous enough, please consider leaving a like on this video and subscribe, plus it really helps out. And I'll see you guys all in my next video. Bye everybody, adios.